eat protein. Remember how they were telling the old people, you only need like 40 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is crazy.
That's
like,
ridiculously
that's ridiculous.
low.
Yeah. So now they've gone, we screwed up. You could just, whatever protein you can get it in. You know, now it's like.
So the myth was, I think, the partly stemmed from it was it's going to give you kidney damage.
Kidney damage. They say it's going to ruin your kidneys. I've yet to see one study where it actually has people ruining their kidneys from eating too much protein. I've yet to see somebody get fat from eating too much protein.
That's a huge one that I always tell people. I'm like, I have a similar belief. I load up their protein 35 to 40% of their daily intake, which is way higher than anybody's used to usually. And they're like, oh, but I'm going to gain weight. I'm like, you try eating, let's just say chicken breast or fish or whatever it may be. It's going to be nearly impossible for you to get fat off that. I've never heard of anybody getting fat from chicken. Maybe KFC.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always got a story to everything, but you're right. It's like only way you could possibly put on some fat is even if you ate all those healthy proteins and you ate your requirement, but let's say you ate more and then you just sat on the couch.
Yeah.
Right. But we're not talking about sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
We're talking about activity. So I've not yet to see anybody get fat. Eating a lot of protein. It just doesn't. I don't see it. And you're active. You're going to the gym and training. Nah, you're not going to get fat.
I think that's one of the hardest myths to convince people of the diet. And I personally, probably I hate cardio. So throughout all my training in the last 15 years, I always try to just do through nutrition and weights. And the cardio, maybe I'll do some walking outside, but why would I spend an extra hour or more? I understand some people just can't they have a huge appetite and they can't control it. Women are far healthier today versus the heroin chic before, where they wanted a flat ass. They wanted just to be anorexic, basically. Yeah. Now, I'm not thanking the Kardashians, but just that kind of TV shows and stuff like that, where showing women actually have curves made them actually super healthy. Like almost every female I see at the gym is crazy strong. They're not massive, but they're crazy strong, and they're keeping their figure that they started with and enhancing it.
Yeah. It's definitely the girls are doing the better training now today than they ever have. And they're not fake feet. You know what I mean? As they know now there's good food and there's bad food.
And they want to eat more. Like they're actually, even 5-6 years ago, I don't know if your clients are similar, they were more fearful when I'd be like, eat more.
Yeah.
Now they're like, okay, I'm trust.
I'm from the generation where girls used to, when I did give me their eating plans, what they eat, and I'd look at it, they were always eating bagels, salad, and what else? And then fruit salads, like just salads and bagels. And I'm like, where's the protein came from cottage cheese.
Oh, cottage cheese, yeah.
And I'm just like, where's the protein? They're like cottage cheese or whatever. And their whole day was all carbs. Yeah. Right. And I was always having like, oh my God, we got to give you to eat protein. You know what I mean? And like, protein. I'm like, so it's, I remember seeing a lot of that. Today, when they come in, there's a better grasp when I see they're eating. Where there is protein, it's very low, but it's there, right? But it's quite low. But they're not eating as many carbs, So, yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting time. So the trend is getting healthier, and average female that comes into me, not an athlete or anything like that, they're eating like 50 grams of protein, 60, still some, but for their height, weight, body weight, age, usually for that same person, I have to double it. And I'm like, the hardest part, the training's going to be fun. Everything's going to be fun. The hardest part's going to be consuming that protein because you're not used to it and not being scared of it.
Do you resort to protein powder and multiple food?
I give it as an option for sure. And I choose from that. It's not to be fearful of it because there's, again, a huge myth of like protein powder is evil. And I'm sure, some probably have all these pillars. I'm like, just get a clean isolate. Myself, like, I don't have time to eat all those meals and I'm not hungry enough. So I'll eat or in the morning, I'll have 2 protein shakes. So I'll have 60 grams of protein in the morning, 60 grams post-workout. That's already 120 from my day.
Yeah.
So I tell a majority of women to utilize protein shakes if you want. Eat real food when you can. Protein shake, still real food. It's just really refined. So
Exactly what you said. They're kind of, there's the myth with the proteins. Not all protein powders are created equal. There's a lot of others. Most of them know they can only screw you around for a while, and that publicity really takes traction. You never hear people really brag about good things, but people will complain about.
Oh yeah, you'll know as soon as there's something bad.
So when you don't hear bad stuff about, you could really figure out what is a good protein powder and stuff. And today, like all the protein powders both seem to affect women's stomach back in the day. They just couldn't tolerate it. And I just think, I didn't know if it was just the fact that they just weren't protein powders, and any form of protein, or it just seemed to always upset their stomach. And then until New Zealand Whey came along, then I was able to put women onto that, and they had no problems with their stomach and stuff like that. And then, the protein shakes, I was okay with it because some of these, when they're moms or they're working and they're at the office and they don't have time to actually get their meals in, it's so easy to like pound a shake and maybe some rice cakes or whatever. And then they're all on the thing, right? So I found it's a good tool for some people, but I go food first. Yeah. But whatever you can't get in, here's your protein.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an expert tool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm strict about it because you have more that's diet to don't get it all in that one day. Don't panic. Think about bookkeeping. All 7 days, if those 7 days add up, let's say that 100 grams of protein is your goal for today. And for the rest of the week, 700. At the end of the week, you have to somehow reach 700 throughout that week. And then hit the carbs with that. So as long as it balances, if you're retired to have all the professionals in your life to make everything or do everything for you. But I'm like, let's simplify. If you want to get more into timing or athletic performance, it can matter. But the biggest wins are at the beginning. Just not overcomplicating things.
I have, with, as much as I've had a lot of athletes in my career, I did have a lot of lifestyle. And I'm very lenient with the lifestyle. And their diets are much more, not as strict. There's a lot of leeway, a lot of just get in the ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't need, so and anybody that doesn't know, the difference is if you're competing, you have to be like 5% body fat or something like that, male or female. Female's a little bit higher. But females, you can't sustain that. It's definitely not healthy. Most females are healthy over 20% body fat. When you look really lean, like you might get percent body fat, like down 25 to 35% body fat. So, and they're still lean. It's just they have curves. Guys, we can hit those low numbers without messing up all our hormones. Don't panic.
How low have you had females in your,
So if they're competing,
just
the average person is usually around the lowest now is 22 to 24%, because most of them want to be tight, don't want to see too much definition, some definition. But that's still really low because they usually come in at 35, 45 to 10.
The longer they're with me, I always shoot for, hey, let's shoot for 25, 22, because we're coming down
very lean at that.
Yeah, because we're coming down from 45, 40, 38, right? So I'm like, hey, let's shoot for 23, 25. Then when they're with me, for a longer period of time, then I kind of I bring them in between 16 and 18.
Yeah.
And I think because they look very fit and you can see a lot and yet it's not affecting their moods totally and stuff like that. And it, it's not going to affect their period and stuff like that. So that's a real good, it's like where I like to keep my female off season go and my real fit Williams in that kind of range. Yeah. And that's only because they've been with me now for a long time.
Yeah. And it is a longer time. It's not 6 weeks.
Yeah, I know. They've been a year or two. So, I caught them down to that
Especially
point.
if they're coming from 45% body fat, you don't expect magic.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm straight up with people too when they come in, when I assess them. I'm just they're like, how fast, And I'm like, hey, so I ask them, how long you've been at this rate? Oh, 15 years. And then you're hoping to get a stop. I'm like, I don't something. What I could do is, if I was to get it off in 3 months, then you will have a high chance of rebounding and putting it back. I said, what I'm going to do is over a period of time, I'm going to reset in calmness, reset the after. make me that would love this is I was gonna say, yeah, I can do this in 3 months. I'm just telling you, and I probably do this, but then you're gonna pay for the
Yeah. So like if you're a job it's not like you're an actor, actress, you need it for this part, absolutely, or you won't fit full. Yeah, if it can be done, but it's definitely not healthy and sustainable. And also they have the budget to have everybody do everything for them and not think. Because yeah, if it's can be done, I put it's really mentally that thing after. The majority of people I've seen is after seeing a trainer that didn't tell them how to get out of that. And then they rapidly gain like 50 pounds after that. You know, they're like, I don't know what happened. I just lost all this weight and I thought more than I lost, but I had a trainer plan. I was eating the way they told me and I just changed a couple of things. But yeah, if you start yourself, if you got like 600 calories a day or it's like some people, it hasn't been that drastic in a long time for me, but usually it's around 1,000. And I'm like, okay, I can fix it, but it's going to be a slower process and we're going to get you back to calorie or more, hopefully. David, pretty much 90% of our clients is females and they've been trained forever. Like, I'm not saying Pilates is bad, but at all. I like Pilates, but like that generation and everything when it first came out is the 5-pound weights of everything. So they still have that mindset that women should lift light. And every female that comes to me, I'm like, I want you to be so strong, like that you're going to surpass everybody you know. Strength and size are different. I'm like, I'm personally training for size. So it's more volume. So those 5-pound weights lots, that would be considered volume. But I was like, have you ever looked at a power lifter's body, like a real power lifter, not a strong man, but a power lifter? I'm like, so my buddy that I know is my height, similar age, but he's 150 pounds. I'm 200. He can deadlift easily 600 pounds off the ground. Looks like a soccer player body, tight body. I can't do that. That's the difference of strength and size. I'm like, he has the tight muscles. So I'm like, for women, if they want super tight muscles and the toned look, lift heavy. If you want bigger glutes, then train more volume in glutes. And those will grow. So the hard part is explaining hypertrophy versus like a strength phase. So like, but they're scared of getting bulky. And I'm like, yeah. It's like, I've been trying as hard as possible for 15 years to get too bulky. It's not going to magically happen. And if it does accidentally happen, so easy to get rid of.
But it is, I always say to them, listen, it's not like you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to be the Hulk. What happened? I can't put my bra on. Like, what happened? It doesn't happen that fast. I wish it did.
It did,
It doesn't happen like that for any man on the planet. It's happening for you. But it's like, they have this perceived. Today, not as bad because like in my generation, when I would first start training, if I even walked towards a squat rack, like if I had a girl and I was taking her to the squat rack, she'd all of a sudden start clambering onto machines like, no, like I'm taking her, all of a sudden her legs and ass are going to explode. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is a basic exercise. We're going to do squats. Like, and they're like, I don't want to, I'm going to grow too fast. Like they were just, and then today you go in there and every girl is outnumbered the guys in squat racks. Like,
and they're significantly stronger. Like, especially where we work out and other gyms I train out of, like hip thrusting, like 4 plates aside, like,
I've seen girls squatting, like serious girls. I've seen some girls like squatting 275, 315, and I don't see guys doing that.
Most guys like, I went up to many women. I'm like, you're actually inspiring me to lift heavier. Because there was one in particular, she weighed like about 115 pounds because I asked, 5 foot tall and squatting a plate and a quarter. So what is that?
85, 185.
Yeah. And I was like, if you can do that, I should be able to do double. But I was just like so mind blown because I was like, wow. Well, I took it too easy on my legs. Well, you can tell.
So one of my girlfriends in the past I dated, she was squatting 405.
Oh my God.
She was deadlifting 405.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I remember one time she went, I sent her and my sister, so I had my gym. I sent her and my sister down to one of the guys who I tutored under for many years and kind of like made me into the Jedi Knight of a trainer I was his name Charles Poliquin. I don't know if you ever heard the name Charles. So at this time, Charles had a facility at, I think, Long Island, New York. And so Tatiana and Angela went down and the trainers there were sending me pictures. Like I had not seen it, right? But of Tatiana deadlifting 400 pounds for reps and then squatting. And they were so amazed by her strength, right? But I was like, well, yeah, I trained her and she ate like me. She cooked all her food. Actually, when I got my biggest, I was with her. I was like 275. And I think she was around 175, I think. But she's tall. She was like 5'10". And, but she was so big. And but then when it came down to competing, you know, that's when we would put in the cardio and she'd lean down and stuff. But my point is, girls today
have a healthier mindset,
have a better mindset towards fitness and not afraid to get big. And they want the big ass, they want the big legs, you know, or the big upper body and stuff like that. And, you know, it's funny. I don't know if you've come across this. I deal with a lot more competitive people, or did. And so most girls come in with the bikini. I want to compete in bikini. Yeah. And then we start training them and they start putting muscle on, and not too much. But, you know, because bikini, they've gotten so much smaller. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but you can't get any bigger for bikini. And they're like, I don't want to do bikini anymore.
I want to do figure. Yeah.
Yeah. She goes, I'll do figure. I'll do wellness. I'll do something. I really like putting on muscle. And I love the bigger glutes and all, and the bigger legs, not just the glute, right? So, cause then I'll show them pictures of, well, here's what a real bikini girl looks like. And this is what, you know, there's no muscle really on them. Yeah. And then here's, you know, figure fitness, or what else is there? There's that other bodybuilding one they have, I think. What do they have?
Yeah, I can't remember the next one up.
And most of them stop. They come in with, I want to be bikini, and then they end up in a different class. Yeah. And that happens quite a bit.
So it's fun also being strong. Like
they because see, they didn't know how to do it, or can I do it? And they always thought, oh, I'm going to get fat. And when you do it properly and they, you know, they're able to control their fat and get that muscle on and then feel strong and look in the mirror and kind of see delts and see a small waist and big glutes, they're like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, so it's hard to say.
I think the good thing,
And just sometimes some people have a tough time of doing something new the right way.
Well, it's hard when all of the internet is geared towards saying 6 weeks to the best shredded you or this and that. And they have all these Instagram influencers or whatever and the transformation photos. But I was showing somebody today at the gym. I was like, I took one of my photos in the phone and I was like, look, I'm just going to play around with some lighting and some other things. And I'm like, look at it different. It looks like a human. Everything online, like that's fake. And like similar to all the clients that come into me, I'm like, I even say on the first couple of interviews, I said, if you want to train with me, we're going to get you results actually slower than anybody else for your fat loss goals. However, it's going to be sustainable.
You're going to keep.
Yeah. So I was like, you can continue yo-yo dieting. Those are the easiest programs to put together. I personally don't do it because I don't believe it's ethical. I did it to myself before my knowledge. And it brings you into like a depression almost because you're like, oh, I was here. Now I'm here. Now I'm back. And I'm like, so give me like a year and you'll be really happy. But even at that year mark, when you don't need me anymore, I'll teach you how to maintain because you're going to need to maintain this. And then I'll teach you how to cut. And you can still do it all on your own, but it will be forever. Like, do you want to play this yo-yo game the whole life? And to the point, they're obviously reaching out to a trainer at that point. They're like, no, I already did this. I mean, I messed around with my metabolism. So like now it's faster. But when I first started, I did like keto for like a year. I did all these things. And what happened after that, and I'm not saying dissing any of these diets, it's, you know, worked until it didn't work. But my insulin sensitivity, everything was off. I couldn't have any carbs. It took me maybe 6 years or more to get my carbs.
Get better?
Well, I mean, slowly, because now I can consume like 600-700 carbs a day. Like people are shocked when like I go grocery shopping with some of my gym buddies and I'm buying all this bread or other things. And they're like, you're going to eat that? I'm like, yeah, but my body can handle it right now because I've trained it because realistically, I like sweets. I like bread. I like this. So like, why am I fighting it? Because forever, yeah, I can be super strict and I have been super strict for a decent period of time. I'm like, do I want to live like that till I'm 90? No. So like, but it took me forever. Like I had to slowly, that's how other people don't do reverse dieting properly.
Yeah.
Like when I tell them like to come out of it, most people just go back to exactly what they're eating. I'm like, no. It's maybe an extra apple a day or a banana a day.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on your
Yeah,
metabolism.
so when you pulling up to 5 grams carbs or something.
Yeah. I was telling you earlier this year, accidentally, when I got my dog and I started adding 3 walks a day, I lost like, I don't know, something like 15 pounds in a month. And I scared myself because I wasn't trying to cut that aggressively.
Yeah.
So since then, I've been eating substantially more because I don't want to lose the muscle. Because like what we talked about, like too much, too fast. Like you saw me, I was doing good. I was on track to put on more muscle. And then I lost so much and I was like, oh my God, I'm tiny again. What did I do?
When I came in that day and I saw you, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell happened? But,
yeah, it was only like a month.
But that's a classic example of body type where, you know, you throw in a little bit of extra cardio and you miss a couple meals and you lose a little weight, right? Where, you know, I can throw in a cardio and miss a couple meals and still nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
It could be like, it'll take some time for me to start leaning down. Generally, when people start going, hey, you've been dieting because they've noticed it. Well, it's been like maybe 10 weeks from you already.
Yeah.
Right?
And you know,
where
thanks.
people start dieting in 3 weeks, people go, oh, yo, I can see you're dieting. It's been 3 weeks. Oh yeah. No, for me, it takes a lot of time. And I think it is too, because in my mind, I'm always thinking about saving muscle, sparing muscle in the diet. So I'm always about, you know, I'm always analyzing and making sure I'm eating, and I only allow so much time to come down, and I go by the mirror a lot.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I think I'm really thoughtful of that. So maybe that's another reason why I try not to go too fast. So easy to go fast and then lose it.
Yeah, you did the hard part. Yeah, you don't want to lose the hard gained muscle. That's what I tell everybody. I'm like, you work so hard because, including me, everybody wants to cut like now and get to their perfect body now. But I'm like, you just worked so hard for like a year to kind of be where you are. And I've been doing it for 15 years. You've been doing it longer. I know this. So when I train clients, I can train them properly. But even I utilize your knowledge base and get you to be like, no, David, don't cut that fast. You know what's going to happen. Like,
here's another one. You remember the HC?
Oh yeah, that was really popular. I mean, it's not popular. It was the biggest. It's exact, but SC, and I can't work, but the people didn't do it right. But you know, like, yeah, but you can do it right. So like, you looked at like bodybuilders, extreme athlete, they did that as well, but it works. But the doctors were saying, don't work out even. And I was like, you're going to destroy everything.
But how can you work out with 500 calories? Like, how can you get off the couch?
Yeah. No, it's hard, but
I just remember looking at the science of it, and I'm like, okay, tell me where this is coming from. And they're like, well, you know, in Africa, these women, they get pregnant, and then, you know, they barely have any nutrition, and then they're able to give a healthy baby. So we're going to fill people up with ATG and give them only 500 calories. That's what these women are. Yeah. And I'm like, that's your whole idea on making the and
basically every calorie has to be protein.
Yeah.
Or not to lose muscle.
So I'm just like, I just was like, look, I remember arguing with some doctors saying this doesn't work. This is bullshit. And I remember Dr. Oz was pushing it, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm like, how many of these women have no idea, but they're going to end up having possibly multiple births? Like, they're going to have 3 to 5 babies at the same time because they're shaking all this shit. Yeah. It's going to release so many eggs. So if they're going to get pregnant during this process, which I don't know if we can eat 500 calories, but, you know, all of a sudden here come all these multiple births. But, yeah. And then I remember when Dr. Oz went on to me and he acted and said that was the worst thing, you know, he ever got behind, and he should have really done the deep dive and stuff like that. But I remember just looking at that HCG 500 calorie thing. It's just man. And I remember too, back then you could get a bottle of HCG for like $50 from the pharmacy.
Oh, really?
$45 in the pharmacy. Yeah. And then once that raw HCG kicked in, now an HCG bottle, $200. Now you go to the pharmacy, you're paying $300 for it.
Crazy.
That's all that did, is ruin the price for the HCG for guys wanting to keep their systems back in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I only ever had one client do it, and I said no, but they're like, I get my naturopath recommends it. And this was about 10 years ago. And I was like, okay, fine. but listen to everything I say then when you're doing it. And she's like, no, I'm going to listen to them. So she left me for like 6 months. She's like, well, we don't have to do anything. She did lose a substantial amount of weight. But when I say weight, it's fat and muscle. She came back to me after that. She put everything back on in 3 months. So it was success in 6 months. Put everything back on in 3 months. It was a lot of weight though, that she lost, but then she put on more than she lost. And then this next year, she's like, I want to do it again. I was like, but it didn't work the first time. And I was like, fine. I was like, but we're going to continue training. We're going to train smart. We're not going to overtrain. You have to listen to everything I say. And it did work, but then I had to reverse diet out for a year because you can't just go from 500 calories and then be like, okay, I'm going to eat 25 again.